Welcome back to Asset Management Group's podcast. I'm Moise Piram, joined with Andrew Nida, who is in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida, on assignment visiting clients. Andrew, how's it going, man?
What's up, my friend? And I am in I'm actually, so I guess a play on words, right? Panama City Beach, Panama City. I am on the beach, and I mean, I'm in Panama City, but I ain't in Panama City Beach. So I'm in historic St.
Okay.
Andrews, and I'm actually here as you could imagine, as everybody probably could imagine, right? In the world that you and I live in every day, right? We have plenty of clients that choose to retire here in this beautiful sunny state, and so yeah, we have clients right here in Panama City. We have clients actually all throughout the state of Florida, and so being able to come down here and do a little bit of work, and then we also have a investment property as well personally here. So just you know, trying to take me and the wife and look over some things, do a little bit of work, and wake up early for you, Mo, to be right here on this show.
I appreciate it.
I wish I could show you the actual view. Like for some reason, when I turn the camera, it like blanks it out. But it is, if you could see here, man, it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm in this little park in historic St. Andrews. So, a little travel guide recommendation: if you ever are in this area, make your way over to historic St. Andrews. It's spectacular, phenomenal restaurants. You gotta make
Awesome,
time to come.
awesome. Well, I'll switch places with you next time we have our road trip to visit clients. You can stay in the studio, and I'll head down to PCB. Uh, but today we thought that it would be good to discuss the annual enrollment period with Medicare because, as you know, annual enrollment period starts October 15th and ends December 7th. So it's coming up, and I know there are people who are searching online, searching YouTube, trying their best to figure out, okay, what do I do to navigate this annual enrollment period? And so we thought it would be a good idea just to give the audience some tips, guides to help them be successful during this very important window of opportunity for them.
Yeah, so the annual enrollment period, I mean, look, it's one of those things like it happens every year. I mean, look, I don't even know how many people are on Medicare in this country, but you're talking about a significant amount of the population.
Yeah, I think it's like 67 million.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And so like all the, 60 plus million individuals like this is applicable for. This applies to, right? So you have to have somewhat of a game plan because ultimately the health insurance side of your life, especially financially, is vitally important. And then of course, depending on health conditions and all that stuff, right? You sure as heck don't want to get in the wrong plan and not be able to go see the physicians or the specialists or the facilities that you may need for treatment, right? So this is a big deal. It is every year. And so when it comes to the AEP, I think, just kind of giving a step by step, like, what would I do? If I'm you, being that we help individuals at our financial planning firm, we don't offer Medicare services right now to the general public, but for all of our clients, because we're a holistic planning firm and we do a lot of advanced planning, one of those pieces of our process is health insurance, right? So if you're a client of our firm, we take care of your health insurance benefits from start to finish, the IRMA documentation, all the things that are necessary. But for those that are out there, if I'm trying to say, hey, this is what you need to do, I'm going to start with doesn't matter the scenario yet. Okay, so don't worry if you are 65 or older. Let's say you're on Medicare already, and you're experiencing the annual enrollment period, which goes from October the 15th through December the 7th, right? Big month because everything opens up. What do you do? Okay. Well, first and foremost, I think some just fundamental things to have in place. You need to make sure that you've taken the time to create a login at Medicare.gov. Okay. Period. Go to Medicare.gov, create a login. If you have but you haven't used it, now's the time to go refresh it, right? So go log back in, reset your password, make sure that you have access, and then at that point make sure that you take the time to go ahead and add your drug list. This is a great feature that Medicare has, and actually I love the site. I think it's super user friendly. When you create the login, you can actually go put in your prescriptions that you take. If you've been on Medicare and you have a drug plan, it actually pulls that data in there. But you want to have those drugs, literally the name of the drug, the strength milligram, whatever the strength of the prescription might be, and then also the dosage. How frequent do you take that prescription? You have that information in there, and literally, it's a turnkey process of being able to make sure that what you have as a plan is what you need going forward. So I say step one, Mo, you got to have like that login freshened up, get your drug list in there, make sure it's, the drugs that you take on a regular basis and expect to take going forward.
So, okay, so I am on Medicare. Let's say I have Medicare Part A. Obviously, I have Medicare Part A. I have Medicare Part B. I choose to go the route of having a supplemental plan instead of an Advantage plan. So I have A, B, supplemental plan. Now I have a drug plan. Okay. I've loaded up all of my prescriptions in my Medicare.gov website. And now I'm entering the annual enrollment period. And now I need to figure out, okay, do I stick with the same drug plan that I had before, that's been successful, been helpful, or does it make sense for me to look at other plans that are available now? I mean, what's the pros and cons to either staying as is, or maybe even looking at new opportunities with this window that's available now?
Yeah, so I think for sure it does not matter, period. How good your drug plan is, you absolutely should reassess your drug plan each and every year. Okay. And here's why. And I'm going to give the answer to the scenario as well. If you are an insurance company and you provide benefits, right? You provide a prescription plan that part of the 60 plus million individuals in America are on, as an example. If you're that company, you have the right to go back and remodify the plan offering that you have on the table. So if you have a Medicare prescription plan that you've offered, it doesn't matter how long you've had it out there or what modifications you've made in the past. The government gives you the right to make modifications to that plan during this time. Now, the modifications that you make have to be finalized and basically solidified within the plan approved by Medicare by October the 15th. Because what happens is these companies then, once it's approved, they go live. All these plans, no matter if it's a new product that's in the market and or it's an existing plan that you've had, you will know, you and everybody else will know exactly what those plan benefits are starting October the 15th for the upcoming year. Okay. And so here we are in the month of October. The truth is nobody knows exactly what all these benefits entail and any changes. And so that's why it's important. It doesn't matter how good your plan is. You need to reassess the drug plan every year. Second is like in your scenario, we're talking about someone who has a Medicare supplement, a drug plan, and original Medicare. With the drug plan, this is the enrollment period that this affects specifically. So when you're looking at it, I always tell people like, don't marry your drug plan, okay? You are guarantee issue, meaning that you have the right during the enrollment period, October the 15th through December the 7th, every single year to choose the plan that's best suited for the drugs that you currently take. Okay, so for whatever prescriptions you're on a regular basis, those are the prescriptions that we talk about that you need to load into that Medicare system. Wait for October the 15th, go online, Medicare.gov, search drug plans for year 2026. Let it take your drugs that you've entered in there to give you a full price quote system that will give you a better understanding of how much your drug costs are going to cost you per month, per year, deductible expense, etc. That's vitally important. You should not miss it. These companies have the right to change their plans, and so they may have dropped one of your prescriptions. There may be a better plan out in the market. Maybe one of the drugs you take has went from, a preferred brand. Now there's a generic version out there. Like you need to make sure you stay up on top of that. Lastly, with the supplemental side, as you well know, Mo, supplemental plans there is no enrollment period, so don't get those things tied together. If you're an individual that's on Medicare supplement, and a drug plan, okay, if you intend on keeping your supplement, just push that off to the side right now. You can reassess that later. All right. Let's focus in on the drug plan. If you're wanting to get rid of your supplement and consider going to a Medicare Advantage, well, that's a much bigger decision. You better make sure you're not being uh, coerce sounds such like a rough word, but you better make sure you're not being sold something, okay? Because giving up a Medicare supplement plan is a big sacrifice because of the health questionnaires and the pre-existing conditions that it takes to get back in those. So make sure that if you're someone who is tempted to maybe get rid of the supplement altogether, then you're doing your homework as well.
So first and foremost, I love what you said. Don't marry your Medicare Part D plan. Every year, use this window to make sure that the drug plan that you're on right now is the best plan for you moving forward. Because these companies have the ability every year to either change the pricing, drop your prescription. They can modify the plan itself, and so this window right now gives you the opportunity to make sure that you're on the right prescription plan for yourself. But where you cut off was, and I want to make sure that the audience heard it because it's a really great point. You said that if you're on a supplement plan now, you want to be very careful of dropping a supplement plan to go to a Advantage plan or Part C plan, right? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, right. So what I was saying is when it comes to an individual that is in the scenario that you gave, Medicare supplement, drug plan, and original Medicare. If you're that individual and you are considering actually just dumping the supplement and the drug plan altogether because you have heard about this Medicare Advantage plan. This is not a statement against Medicare Advantage, but it's the importance of what value those supplemental plans hold. My point is this: you better make sure you pause and do your homework in making the right decision for you and your future, because Medicare Advantage plans are built totally different. It doesn't mean they're bad, they're built different, and I tend to believe they're actually built less than. Okay, and I think that's pretty factual when you look at the benefits and the networks within these plan offerings. So it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're way different. And I think a supplement kind of holds a higher level of service and value for the client. So my point is this: if you leave that supplement plan because someone has talked you into going with an Advantage plan, is it a bad thing? No. But if you do it not knowing what you're doing and regret it, you could have to go back through pre-existing conditions and health questionnaires, etc., to get a supplement. Okay. Now, one easy, simple question for everybody to ask: why would a supplement company require you to pass pre-existing conditions, but a Medicare Advantage plan not? Well, obviously, there's a difference in value offering from the product. Has to be. One is saying, hey, we only accept this, a higher standard, because we're offering X benefit. The other one says, we'll take anybody just during this time frame. So the point is, if you're considering leaving your supplemental plan this time of year, you want to slow down, make sure you're making the right decision, get some help. If you're someone who enjoys your supplemental plan, this enrollment period has nothing to do with it. You're going to keep it anyway, push it off to the side, focus on the drug plan, make sure you got the right drug plan for year 2026, let it be.
Good, good. Okay, so now first scenario I gave someone who has a supplemental plan with a drug plan. What about someone who already has an Advantage plan? Right, when they turned 65 or when they were eligible for Medicare, they decided that the Advantage plan was the best option for them at that moment, and they still feel it's the best option for them. How do they navigate this annual enrollment period? What are some differences between the scenario I gave you before and this scenario now, where you don't have a supplemental. You're just going, you're just rolling through with a supplemental with the Advantage plan.
Yeah, and I do. I feel like I knocked up on the you know Advantage plan there for a second, so I feel like I should be kind enough to say it really is not a bad plan. It's just built. You got networks, you got copays, you got some out of pocket costs, right? It's built different. Actually, it's built more like a plan that you've had your entire life, and we have other videos, and we'll continue to do like other educational videos on what a Medicare Advantage plan actually is. I know this video is more so of like how do I win in 2025 enrollment period. So let me say this: when it comes to a Medicare Advantage plan, there is no um, health condition or health questionnaire that you have to go through a process to be approved. Okay. What that means is this: you can drop whatever you want to drop starting after October the 15th by applying for something new. Okay, now let me clarify the dates around that. After October the 15th, you say, I don't like what I have, I'm going to go with something different. I'm going to go from a Medicare Advantage plan by company A, move to a Medicare Advantage plan by company B. You make that decision, it's done. All you got to do is fill out an application. It's guaranteed 100% going to work, no problem, no worries, doesn't matter your health history, etc. It will be effective January the 1st. Okay. So January 1st is when that change will happen, but you can do it. So here's the point again. If you are on Medicare Advantage plan, just like the statement I made about Medicare prescription drug coverage, don't marry your company, right? I don't want you to feel like you should be changing every year. That's not the concept, but I want you to have the free mindset that you need to go through and do your research every year. And if there is a company that isn't just a few dollars cheaper, but there's a company that provides a value that's reasonable for you to make the change and update the coverage and all that stuff, by all means, do it. Why would you not? And I guess I'll throw one other thing real quick in there. The Medicare Advantage website, medicare.gov, is your hub for making the right decision. So that's exactly where you need to be. You need to have that drug list updated. You need to go through and you can reprice Medicare Advantage plans after October the 15th, just like you would a drug plan. Check networks, make sure your doctors are accepting the plan, all the good things right
Okay. Okay. All right. So we have both those scenarios were for people who already were on Medicare, and they're looking at this annual enrollment period to determine whether, which drug plan makes the most sense for them, which Advantage plan makes the most sense for them since they've been on it for a while. What about for those who are now they're retiring, or they're turning 65 for the first time, turning 65 for the first time, turning 65 and now eligible for Medicare for the first time? Okay. So how do you, yeah, I know I caught myself as I said that. But they're turning 65, they've retired, and now they're trying to navigate annual enrollment period for the first time. This is all brand new to them. Okay. Again, now they're retired, 65. How do they win during this annual enrollment
there. Well,
period?
so I would say that if you are someone who is turning age 65 by the end of this year, sometime between now and the end of the year, or retiring by the end of this year, and you turn on the TV and you're getting like all these commercials and on your Facebook feed and all the notifications, that's like Medicare, 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 Medicare annual enrollment period. If it has the letters AEP, disregard it. That's what I would say. Let it be, because the AEP actually does not affect you at all. Okay. If you are, full disclosure for everybody watching the show, if you hear background noise, I was trying to find a cool, pretty park and they are cutting grass and weed eating right next to me. So is that loud? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can hear the weed eating, but it's fine.
But here's the point: if you are that individual, you don't need to worry about AEP, and the reason you don't is because you actually are eligible for your own separate enrollment period, depending on the scenario, right? So, turning 65 is your initial enrollment period, not your annual enrollment period, but your initial enrollment period. Sometimes we can get worried that those two things coincide and click. They don't. They're two separate benefits, two separate rules and regs. Um, if you are retiring, right, that's its own special enrollment period because you're losing group and benefits. And as a result, by losing qualified insurance, you are eligible for a plan. So there's a lot of different like options there. Um, but the reality is the AEP just simply doesn't apply to you. So you don't need to worry about that as a conflicting or confining process that you need to fall within.
You're turning 65 between now and the end of the year. This annual enrollment period really doesn't impact you because you are now in your own initial enrollment period, or a special enrollment period because you are, um, if you're retired and you're over 65 but you had credible coverage before, then you have this special enrollment period where you can actually enroll in Medicare because there's been a change in life, which is you've lost credible coverage. um, but there's still, you still you still navigate in some aspects the same decisions, right? Do I take a supplemental plan or do I take an advantage plan? Do I and if I take the supplemental plan, which drug plan should I take? So so I guess the way to win during the season, if you're retired or turning 65 and you're navigating Medicare, I'd say for the first time, is really, I would say, first and foremost, which direction do you want to go? Do you want to go the Medicare Advantage route where you're going to sign up for Medicare Part B, you have to eat for either one, and then do I want an all-in-one kind of product where I have my drugs, my health, my health care, and then maybe I have dental and vision. I have all that wrapped up into one plan, Medicare Advantage. The limitations may be in being in network, um, having to go to uh, doctors that are in your network, making sure that everything is all bundled into one plan, or do I go the supplemental route where I have a separate plan that is covered through a private health insurance company, and then I'm going to have a separate prescription plan, again separated from the Medicare Advantage, and which route do I take? Or is that basically the options that you're basically choosing from at 65 or retiring for the first time if you're navigating Medicare? Do I do the Advantage plan or do I do a supplemental with the drug plan?
Yeah, no, I think obviously that those are the options. And so I think the reality is if you're turning 65, you just need to go about making the decision a bit different. I mean, all basically when you turn 65, all the options are on the table, right? You could do whatever you want to do. And you could do whatever you want to do because it's guaranteed because the government gives you like this happy birthday wish gift because you're turning 65 and so you get whatever plan you need apart from whatever health state you're currently at. So that's a huge gift because remember, that's not a gift they really ever, it doesn't keep giving. Okay. What keeps giving is like taxes and higher costs for healthcare, et cetera. But the free choice of health benefit and health insurance does not. So you have to make the right decision the first time. And so I think to your point, our goal with today's video is just to say, hey, look, this is how you need to address the annual enrollment period regardless of your situation. But if you're someone who is like aging into Medicare 65 or you're retiring and getting on Medicare for the first time, don't get caught up with the pressure and the noise of the marketing and all that this time of year that's really actually directed toward the other 60 plus million people that are on Medicare. You need to slow down because you have a decision that you get to make one time that there are some contingencies around this decision that actually will no longer exist again for the rest of your life. So slow down, make the right decision, and I think obviously we have and will create some educational videos for you guys if you're that scenario, right? If you're turning 65 for the first time, it's been a while. We should probably update some of that content and just make sure that you have a step by step guide of how to work through this system. But but I think when it comes to annual enrollment period, it's just hopefully that's some good education for you guys. I think as a quick recap, what I would say is by the time it's October or October's coming to an end, I guess I should say at this point, if you're over the age of 65 and you're on Medicare already and you have a supplement or a drug plan or whatever you have, this season is for you. It's for you to make the right decision. And the government gives you this time frame to make the right decision. So, step one, get on Medicare.gov, refresh your login credentials, make sure you have access, update those prescription drugs. Don't worry about something you may take during the flu season or whatever it may be. Just put in the system the prescriptions that you take on a regular basis. Make sure all that data is in there, and then you can go inside of Medicare.gov, search 2026 plans right then. Okay, you search those 2026 plans, and at that point, you're able to really look and see what options are available, and you can compare that to the existing plans you have, having a clear view of what you need to do for your 2026.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Well, that's a wrap. I mean, good content, good conversation. Hopefully, this was helpful. So, if you are navigating Medicare for the first time, if you're trying to navigate annual enrollment period, or if you are someone who is helping their parent, or you think that this is something that someone you know should learn about and know about, definitely like this video, share it with them, subscribe to our channel. And as always, Andrew, be safe, my friend. And we'll see you next week, guys.